One. Here we go!
Good day, viewers, and welcome back to yet another edition of We Talk. I'm, of course, Precious Nitanapo, your host and presenter for this show. And in this week's edition, we have an interesting interview coming up with Limba Mupetami, who is one of the co-founders of the Women in Media Conference, which is set to take place by the end of this week. So we're going to dive a little bit into that whole concept and the whole conference and the purpose of the conference and what we have achieved so far with the Women in Media Conference, of course, speaking that it's not the first one and there has been several other editions as well. So we'll be having Limba in studio today, and then we'll have a look at our We Recommend segment as well as our WeChill segment that guides us through the weekend. So, of course, you want to keep your eye out on WeChill if you are planning on being out and about this weekend. But before we get into the rest of the show, first let's have a look at the news. In this week's news edition, we have a look at the annual Rough and Tough rally hosted by the Bard family. The Bard family over the weekend raised in excess of 100 million to the benefit of the Cancer Association of Namibia. The three-day rally is undertaken annually through Damaraland and this year kicked off on Thursday, 18th of May 2023 and traversed offbeat tracks, mountain trails and riverbeds through Omashete village and up towards Korigas, where the rally ended at the Matisa camp on Saturday evening. A total of 280 participants, 78 rally cars and 35 backup vehicles participated, including a team of the Cancer Association of Namibia and additional media crew completed the 1,000-kilometer track over 3 days. A community of classic and off-road car lovers, adventurous and high-spirited enthusiasts who lived their passion this weekend and paid it forward to help others. This is a beautiful story of rough and tough, said Rolf Hansen, the Cancer Association of Namibia Chief Executive. The rally was initiated by Philip Bard some 6 years ago in reaction to his quest to create an adventure experience for car lovers while giving something back to the community. What started out with a list of possible participants soon turned into one of the adventure highlights of Namibia off-road enthusiasts. Cars must be older than 30 years and participants must have a serious sense of adventure, while all are challenged to raise funds through their networks and families towards the Cancer Association of Namibia. Previous donations were used in support of the National Cancer Outreach Program and Patient Financial Assistance Program of the organizations, while all funds raised through 2023 events will be used to assist the establishment of the new palliative care unit currently under construction by the CAN organization. That brings us to the end of our news edition, but stay tuned for the rest of the show. Good day, viewers, and welcome back to our interview section of We Talk today. I am Precious Nitanapo, as I've mentioned before, and I'm seated next to Limba Mupetami. Limba, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Precious, and thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for stopping by. But before we get into it, just give us a little introduction so that our viewers can know who exactly we're speaking to.
Well, of course, my name is Limba Mupetami, as you have mentioned, and I'm the founder of the Women in Media Association.
Great. So that's exactly why we're here today, the Women in Media Association. So can you just give us a little run through, a backtrack on how this association started?
It was actually very funny. You see, I was sitting with a friend of mine, Jemima Bierkes, and we were just having, one of those discussions about how women don't have opportunities in the media industry and so forth. And I was like, you know what? But why don't we just start a group? Where women can come together and sort of like a mentorship group and that type of thing. And then that's how initially the idea of the Women in Media conference came about. So it was just a discussion between two friends and, just vending rather some of the challenges that women face in the industry. So yeah, basically in a nutshell, that's how it came about.
And you just mentioned Jemima Bierkes, and I know she was on the panel last time. Who can we expect to be on the panel this year?
Well, of course, we have three women, very strong, very vocal women that we will have on the panel this year. And that, of course, is Dr. Jane Ulwa. She's the Executive Director of SASCAL. We have Esther Mbatera. She is a former PRO and a freelance journalist. She freelances for the Namibian. And then we've got Emily Brown as well. She's a former head of the journalism department at NAST and a women rights activist and campaigner as well. So we try to mix it up a little bit, just bring different elements to the conference this year.
Yeah, you did mention quite a few strong women in the industry there. And I just want to touch a little bit on the theme for this year. I know last year, or the last edition was in relation to World Press Freedom Day that you celebrated. So what is it? What are we circulating this edition around?
Well, you see, the event is actually still circulating on Press Freedom Day. It's just that we couldn't host it a little bit closer to the 3rd of May. But still, we're still in May, and we still want to celebrate press freedom. But of course, the theme for this year is empowering women to promote human and women rights as well. So that's the theme. So in a nutshell, it's basically still circulating around Press Freedom Day and the challenges that women go through, and just some of the things that we should maybe be looking at and working towards to just making women comfortable in the industry.
I think that brings us back to the key points that are going to be discussed at this edition that is coming up. I know you just mentioned the theme. Are the key points going to be in relation to the theme, or is it going to be broad?
Yeah, of course, the key points will be, in line with the theme. Some of the things that will be discussed by the panelists, or rather the panelists will table, is breaking the silence, addressing the lack of women voices in the media. Of course, the panel will look at representation, how well are women represented, what we need to work on, to just bring women on board in the industry. Stereotyping, what type of stereotyping do women go through, and the bias that is also faced in the industry. So those are just some of the things that we will look at.
I just heard you mention stereotyping and then breaking the silence. Do you feel like these are some of the major elements that hinder women from taking up space in the industry?
Well, there is so much, and that is why platforms like this are created, So I can't really pinpoint one challenge and say this is what women are going through. But it's a lot of things, women not being given opportunities not existing. So one of the reasons why the association was also created, to bring women together so that we can discuss these things. What are your challenges? Everybody, we come from different backgrounds and all of those things. So there's a lot of challenges that women go through. I can't really pinpoint. I think the idea with the event is to, bring out those key points, that needs to be discussed and looked at.
Now, as much as we're bringing out these key points and we're discussing them, at the end of the day, it is also to create stronger bonds between women and have these in different work environments. Can you just touch a little bit on the importance of these strong bonds amongst women in media and different media industries?
Back in the day, when I started, or rather when I entered the industry, I didn't really have a lot of women to look up to. And as you become seasoned, you then identify some of the things that are lacking. You see, you find a lot of young girls that are coming into the industry, and you're like, if perhaps she had a mentor, she could have somebody to speak to. She could have somebody to ask for advice. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to go to a male colleague and, raise your concerns, for instance, or to look for mentorship, but it's a little bit different. I think it would be nice if young girls had female mentors, seasoned journalists to look up to, go for advice. And those are some of the things that we want to to do actually with the Women in Media Association, and we have been doing that, and so we have created a platform for that to happen. I think it's very important that we hold hands amongst women and to, assist one another where we can.
I definitely agree with that last statement. You just mentioned that when you first started, you didn't have a lot of people to look up to, women particularly. Do you think it's safe to say that women are now slowly taking up space in the media industry?
Of course, of course. I mean, if I have to speak about myself, the way that I've climbed the ladder over the years, I started as a rookie journalist like everybody else. I came through the ranks. I've done I've done several beats over the years. I've taken up management positions, So of course, I've climbed the ranks, and even though I didn't really have a lot of mentorship in terms of women to look up to locally, there are women that I would look up to and say internationally, of course, and say I want to not be like her, but take certain characteristics or qualities from those particular women. And I think now I can safely say that the young girls that are coming through the ranks can really identify some of the local journalists, female journalists, and say, wow, she really impresses me when she does that. And I think we have created that over the years.
On the topic of young journalists and young female journalists, for our students, media students and so forth, tuning into the edition that's coming up, what's a core value that you would like them to take away from this?
Well, the fact that we're bringing in different women from different fields, that should already be a platform for them to, get to network with these women. Precisely what anybody takes away from the event, they have to come and pick out those things. But the most important thing for us, of course, is to create that platform where NAS students, for example, that we have invited, can come through and, engage with some of these women that are already in the industry and also in different industries. You don't need to specifically, stick in journalism, There are also other communications departments, fields that you can venture into. And with this platform, we're trying to create that, to say that perhaps if you're not good in this, you can also take you can venture into another field. That's why we have, brought a host of women from different fields, on this platform to be able to engage with these students. And initially, the idea of the Women in Media Association also was to just bridge that gap between those that are already in the field and those that want to enter the field, so that it's easy for them to, be able to transition from being a student to being, employed and that type of thing. So hopefully, with the event, we really hope that that platform can be created.
I think that was nicely said, but before we let Limba go, any final comments for our viewers?
Well, you see, the most important thing that I think need to mention is that the invitation is, it's per invite, okay? So we don't want people to just rock up and all of those things, but it's per invite. We have grown over the years, okay? And every year we try to increase the numbers. Maybe next year we try to open it to a whole lot of other people, to male counterparts as well. But the most important thing is for those that have RSVP to please turn up, You never know what you might walk away with from these type of sessions.
Well, you mentioned that it is by invite. Are there any plans to live stream or broadcast it anywhere for those that cannot be in attendance?
We had one of those discussions, but we decided not to live stream it, but we will package it in a manner that people can still be able to access the video and all of those things.
So regardless, we all will be tuned in and we all will be part of the session. But Limba, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for everything that you've shared today and for just sharing light on women in the industry, the media industry, of course. That brings us to the end of our We News interview for today, but stick around because there's more coming for the show. and welcome back to another edition of We Talk. It's of course time for our We Recommend segment, and today we stop by Penduka Village, which is a recreational center just at the tip of Koryagap Dam, if I have to put it like that. But we're gonna head in and see what exactly they have to offer. I'm actually very excited to see what it is. I heard they have beautiful accommodation, there's beautiful recreational activities and spaces, as well as a workshop. So they have quite a variety to offer, and I can't wait to show you guys. Let's have a look.
Bensound.com. 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 Bensound.com.
Listen, I'm gonna go up there. I'll need you to switch on the light. It's fine.
Bensound.com.
It's fine.
bensound.com. bensound.com. bensound.com.
Let's have
bensound.com.
a couple sweeter words.
bensound.com. 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 bensound.com.
It's the end of the month as well as a long weekend for many, so if you're looking for something to do, look no further. At 8 on Saturday, a market takes place at Droombos until 2 with a variety of stalls, horse riding and more. As from 10 o'clock, the gates open for the Hevels Fantasties and Joe Black performance taking place at the Doc Jappa hockey fields in the capital. The show only starts later in the evening though. Heading to the Irongo region, at precisely 11 minutes past 11, the carnival season kicks off at the coast with the ever-popular Narrenwekker in Sam Nujoma Avenue. And at 6, a night market takes place at the Swakopmund Hotel and Entertainment Centre until 10 p.m. Further afield, the Otjiwarongo 4x4 Fastbait is back, bigger and better at the Paresis Showgrounds. On Sunday at 5, Africa According to Jazz is hosted at Anna's Klovenberg in Klein Windhoek. Join in as the 60th anniversary of Africa Day is celebrated with some jazz. Tickets cost $300, which includes a complimentary wine and canapes. Finally, if you haven't seen it yet, Abdufal Ilovo's exhibition Onlooker can be viewed at the Project Room in Windhoek until the 30th. Have fun and take care.
Well, there you have it. That brings us to the end of our We Talk episode for this week. We, of course, just concluded our interview with Limba. We enjoyed our We recommendation as well as our WeChill segment, our guide through the weekend. But this is where we cut it off today. I hope you guys enjoyed it and that you stay tuned for next week. Thank you.